live on X, but he's doing it in the name of the American people to help fight against more reckless government spending, which is exactly what everyone cheered Elon Musk into not into unofficial office with. After all, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, was supposed to be finally what brought a balanced budget and a lack of waste to government by removing waste and cutting abuse and removing fraud from the government. Unfortunately, as we've seen, it's been a lot harder to cut from the government because nobody likes it when money or funding for their projects are cut. And frankly, when we vote for politicians, what do we vote for? We don't vote for a politician who says we're going to cut everything. We vote for a politician who says we're going to get tax cuts or we're going to get more spending. Those are the politicians that win elections, and those politicians take these popular mentalities into office because it helps their cohorts get reelected. Members of the House or Senate get reelected when they spend more money, when they build parks, when they send stimulus checks, when they sign tax cuts, when they put their name on retirement plans like the MAGA account that Donald Trump has in the big beautiful bill. We have politicians who love spending money, which makes sense. That's basically why our founding fathers kind of created a congressional system that designs built-in gridlock, which is really forward-looking because the built-in gridlock kind of helps prevent spending. Of course, there are loopholes. One of the loopholes has to do with budget reconciliation, where ordinarily to pass a bill in the Senate, you need 60 votes. Unfortunately, 60 votes is not what you need for a budget reconciliation bill, because 3 times a year you could use budget reconciliation to pass legislation without having to overcome a filibuster. So long and short of it, if it's budget related, you could get your bill passed with just 51 votes, which is what Donald Trump is hoping to pass his big, beautiful bill under. Unfortunately, Elon Musk has caught wind through, obviously, what the Congressional Budget Office has been reporting and others, that our deficit is likely to increase under a big, beautiful bill. And today seems to be the day that Elon Musk has begun crashing out live. Now, we're going to go through exactly what Elon Musk is saying, and we're going to go through what Donald Trump is saying. But let's just be real. What we have is on one side, Elon Musk talking about how our society should be spending less money, which all of us can agree with. We want government to be more efficient. There's nobody who doesn't want to see the government be more efficient, other than maybe the people benefiting from those contracts. But then on the flip side, you have the most powerful person in the world, especially in the Republican Party, no doubt, Donald Trump, who is now seeing his legacy bill threatened thanks to Elon Musk's crusade against him. So let's go ahead and and the big beautiful bill. So let's go ahead and start first with a little bit of what's going on with Elon Musk tweets. So we'll go ahead and start there, and you can see a little bit of what's going on here recently. First, we have Elon Musk quote tweeting CNN articles now, balance the budget or bust, Leader Thune. We also have Elon Musk, I super agree with this guy, February 2018, Speaker Mike Johnson. At some point, Congress has to stop this endless cycle of out-of-control deficit spending. Mind you, now Donald Trump is in agreement with Elizabeth Warren that we should permanently remove the debt ceiling cap. And the reason for this, the argument for this is, hey, if you remove the debt ceiling cap, then we could just focus on, should we spend money on XYZ or not? What we have today is, should we spend money on XYZ? Okay, yeah, let's pass that bill. And then 6 months later, oh crap, we don't actually have the money for this, so let's have another fight about it. That's why the debt ceiling is politically unpopular with politicians, because they only want to fight for their expenditures once, not twice. Then Elon Musk goes into, Congress is spending America into bankruptcy. Given that Elon Musk here is quote tweeting somebody who's saying, who is right, Elon or Donald, I'm assuming it's going to be Elon. Yeah, 76% of the results are favoring Elon on that particular poll there. Because again, Americans want to see less spending. Elon Musk also quote tweeting Trump, I'm delighted to nominate Jarek Isaacman, the accomplished business leader, philanthropist, pilot, astronaut, administrator, as the administrator of NASA. Well, I mean, just a few days ago, Donald Trump, after this sort of beginning of the crashing out between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, all of a sudden, Jared gets the boot. Now, of course, politicians on the right side and the Trump administration say, well, Jared has a history of donating to Democrats. Okay. Well, people could say that Donald Trump used to be a Democrat, right? So it's quite convenient that all of a sudden Elon's pick for NASA, whom Elon promoted, is getting the boot after Elon gets the boot. And Elon continues on, going as far as calling Donald Trump a liar in response to this. Elon was wearing thin, which is a little bit of a jab because Elon's been getting a lot of criticism lately for potentially being on a lot of drugs. This is, it really depends who you listen to on this. But I think from what we've seen with Elon Musk and sort of his behavior, he clearly uses some sort of medications and maybe a lot of it. And he's said in the past that he's willing to dabble in, antidepressive drugs or whatever. But let's just put it this way. When we put a video clip like this up on screen, it's hard to argue that, maybe he's just like really tired and the monster like kicks in or something like that. But it's kind of hard to argue that there's not something going on there, right? And so when Donald Trump says Elon is wearing thin, it's actually kind of a slam at Elon potentially, being so at wit's end that, not only do we have this unexplained black eye, which some people rumor mill that there was a fight inside of the White House. Elon Musk says, oh, well, a child hit me. People are like, nah, man, you got beat up by somebody in the White House. Anyway, so you've got Donald Trump kind of poking the wound there, which is what Donald Trump does, right? Donald Trump is known for this. He's known for kind of poking people where it hurts. And so I think when he's saying Elon was wearing thin, I think that's what he's referencing. Mind you, also, some of the substances that people think Elon uses, certainly ketamine, we've heard him admit to this before. Of course, then he's tried to walk this back on social media. Some people say Musk uses psychedelic mushrooms along with ecstasy, along with 20 different pills, including Adderall, and kind of like mixes up a concoction that he travels with his pill box of whatever he wants. And he says he suffers from terrible, highs and lows and unrelenting stress, which honestly, you kind of can't blame the stress Elon goes through. He's got a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, Trump says Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. He knew for months I was going to do that, and he just went crazy. To this, Elon Musk says that Donald Trump is lying. Such an obvious lie. Now, in fairness to Elon here, Elon's regularly said he's okay with the EV tax credits going away because he actually thinks it would be net positive to Tesla because all of the other EV manufacturers who aren't profitable would lose their credits. So even though profit for Tesla would go down, everybody else's profit would go down, which would potentially send competition into bankruptcy and then in the long term benefit Tesla. So Elon has been accepting of the EV tax credits going away and potentially even solar tax credits going away, because that's another thing you have to evaluate is it's not just $7,500 for an electric vehicle that goes away, but it's also tax credits that go away for solar panels, home batteries, and the manufacturing of these products. See, that's really important. A lot of people forget that there are also a lot of subsidies in the very manufacturing of American-made batteries or solar inverters or whatever. And, oh my gosh, this gets even more crazy. Look at what just happened. Elon Musk, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. Oh, God. What? Okay. All right. So I'm in the middle of trying to cover what's already been said, and now this is being said, which, let's be real, we kind of all already suspected that was why Donald Trump wasn't releasing the Epstein files in full and instead was giving right-wing social media influencers redacted copies of the Epstein files that the White House wanted them to have. But now it's kind of turning a little petty. But anyway, back to sort of Tesla for a moment. So mind you that these tax credits, Elon already knew that the $7,500 ones were going away. The problem is not that those are going to go away. I don't actually believe that's why Elon's pissed here. I actually believe that Elon is, I think he's autistic. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, they're really smart autistic people. But I kind of think he is so mentally convinced with we must save money. That's why he went into Doge. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy is not autistic. And he's like, great idea. Let's save money. And right before the election, Vivek's like, take the reins, Elon. You got this. Because Vivek knows that you can't go into government and cut. You're going to get killed. So Vivek's like, I'll just go run for governor of Ohio instead. He had the foresight to realize that cutting in government is really, really unpopular. Talking about government cutting is great. Doing it is bad. Okay? So Vivek had that foresight, which I actually give Elon more respect for that because Elon actually tried. Vivek pansied out, right? So I give Elon more respect there. That said, now you've got Elon Musk railing on the big beautiful bill, saying that instead of a big beautiful bill, you can't have big and beautiful. What you can only have is big and bad or skinny and beautiful. In other words, less spending is better. Now, the problem with Elon's crash out is because he is probably autistic. I don't think he fully thinks through the consequences of what he's doing. Because what he's doing is now he's tripling down on we must cut. I failed with Doge, and now I'm going to rail against the entire Republican Party. Remind you that politicians exist to spend money, okay? I'm not here defending politicians. Trust me, I think it's terrible. But Republicans cut taxes and increase the deficit. Democrats increase spending and increase the deficit, okay? The only way you're probably going to get out of it is by growing the economy out of it. But now, because of Elon's lash out, especially this, now quote tweet, I mean, now it's getting more petty, right? I mean, like, this is really entertaining, okay? Like, this is interesting. Like, I want to refresh this all day long, right? But this is now getting extreme because now we're going away from money in the big beautiful bill, and we're going to let's personally attack each other, right? Donald Trump calls Elon Musk wearing thin. Elon Musk says, well, you're in the Epstein files. This is probably how Elon got punched in the White House, okay? They go to low blows. And this is, Elon and Trump both do this. Trump is doing this with Harvard and Columbia, and Elon does this with people he doesn't like all the time. Remember, he calls Mark Kelly, the esteemed astronaut, the R word and a disgrace. And also, we could talk about all those things in a different video. But the point is, what's at stake now is that Donald Trump is, to 50% of Americans, very popular to fight for, and 50% of Americans very unpopular to fight for. But if you fight for Donald Trump, you pick your side, right? Okay, that's fine. Like, you are totally okay to pick a side. If you want to be pro-Trump, great. If you want to be against Trump, great. The big problem is when you go to war with Trump, Trump doesn't back down. This guy will go petty as you want to go. And so this is a problem for Elon Musk because basically every single business that he's involved in relies on the government. SpaceX relies on the FAA to give them permission to blow crap up over the Gulf of America or Mexico, whatever you want to call it, right? Depending on your political persuasion. So you got the FAA, you got NASA for satellites and missions to the space station. You've got the Department of Transportation and the Highway Administration, NHTSA, for robo-taxis. Every regulation on the federal level that can ultimately trickle down to the state level and screw robo-taxi potential progress in favor of alternatives like Amazon. Amazon's trying to get into low Earth satellites to try to provide a SpaceX competitor. Google via Waymo is trying to provide a robo-taxi competitor. So there are a lot of other companies in America that you can really prop up. And this is where one of the reasons we're seeing Tesla stock fall today is because now you have Donald Trump threatening to start cutting all support for Elon Musk's companies and government contracts. Now, this is really interesting because take a look at this. Here's the post. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised Biden didn't do it. Well, this is quite interesting because now what you have is you have Elon, who's really pissed off Democrats. But that's okay because people argue they've already bought all the Teslas that they need. So who cares? Piss off the Democrats, trying to get the Republicans. But now all the Republicans are pissed. Now, in fairness, when I say all the Republicans, I don't want you to think of you as a person, okay? You as a person should look and go, in fairness, we spend way too damn much, okay? Our deficit is unsustainable. Totally respectable, normal, acceptable position to have. That is a keen American position. Hell yeah. The politicians waste too much damn money. Totally agree. The flip side is that Republicans who are in power, everyone in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, has now to make a choice. Do you align with Elon Musk or Trump? Well, let's see. What happened to 90% of the Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump? Oh, they all lost their jobs. They lost their jobs. They lost all their respect. They lost all their clout. They became loser Republicans that nobody cares about anymore. So this is why fighting Trump politically is probably a death knell. Now, Elon Musk might be going a little aggressive with his claims that he's the only reason Donald Trump won the election. And this is also a really risky thing to do because it, in some way, let's put it this way, if you donate money to somebody, of course you're going to expect recognition or gratitude or whatever. But you generally don't donate to somebody and then go, so I just donated to you. When are you giving back to me? Somebody without the social normalcy there might do that, which Elon obviously is doing. But typically you don't go, hey man, I donated, so when are you scratching my back? Because it kind of screams corruption and you're not supposed to do that. We know it goes on anyway. Okay, Elon's just saying the quiet part out loud. So that's why I say, as an American, this is really entertaining because, we look at this and it's well, Elon is saying all the quiet stuff out loud. I mean, frankly, it is quite possible that Elon would have lost the election if it weren't for his $200-something million of spending, right? But again, some of these things you don't say out loud because you're gonna get slapped back. And unfortunately, Elon Musk doesn't have a political party anymore right now. Because of this lashing out, Elon Musk has lost, to a large extent, Democrats, and he's lost to a large extent now Republicans. Now, I know what that's like because I find myself to be very neutral, very in the middle. I kind of poop on everyone, right? Because I'm I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like, and I end up pooping on Biden and I poop on some Trump stuff and I poop on some of this and some of that. It's mostly because I just bring my unique perspective and I try to provide value where I can. And the one thing I can tell you that I'm really good at is buying lots of houses and getting really good wedge deals and developing real estate. That's why we're fundraising over at househack.com. Remember, it's open to non-accredited investors. You get 5% as a yield plus 100% of the upside in the stock, which is kind of awesome. But obviously there's risk with every investment. Read about it over at househack.com. Okay, so with that said, let's listen to Donald Trump here because it's also somewhat entertaining to listen to.
He's upset. Remember, he was here for a long time. You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is. So you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer, said the best thing. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything like it. He's upset.
Okay, so yikes. This is aggressive, right? This is an aggressive response now from Donald Trump. And this is, compounded by Elon Musk circulating even more tweets from Donald Trump 12 years ago. I cannot believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I'm a Republican and I'm embarrassed. Right? Okay. Like, obviously now Donald Trump is pushing for removal of the complete debt ceiling. So this aggressiveness from Elon is leading to these responses for Trump, where Trump is like, oh, I don't know if we can be friends anymore after this. I don't know, man. Like, once you step on my, it's kind of hard for me to care about doing business with you again in the future. This is now, and of course, Elon doesn't have a filter. We know that Elon doesn't have somebody actually moderating his tweets, limiting what he's posting. So look at this. I mean, this is what we just saw. First of all, an hour ago, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% middle? Well, I mean, this is the stuff that I try to do every single day on YouTube, but it's very, very difficult because we have a two-party system, thanks heavily in part due to the Electoral College and the way we don't do coalitions in America, and the way in order to pass bills, you must essentially pick one of the sides, which sucks. This is why when I ran for governor in California, I said that I was 51-49. Like, people always like to say, like, oh, Democrat or Republican. I'm like, nah, man, 51-49. Okay? Because we can like things that are Republican, we can like things that are Democratic, and we can represent that middle. Anyway, but that doesn't work in politics, though, right? Time to drop a really big truth bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they've not been made public. So we already talked about this. But and a lot of us already knew this, right? This is why we were getting redacted copies of the Epstein files. We've seen pictures of Donald Trump with the Epstein files. This really isn't that big of a revelation, but take a look at this. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. This is Elon Musk just 7 minutes ago. Eric Berger over here, quote tweeting Donald Trump saying the easiest way to save money is to cut Elon's contract. Eric, the space guy, says, this would end the International Space Station and simultaneously provide no way to safely deorbit it. Elon Musk says, this just gets better and better. Go ahead, make my day. It shows you, like, there's no long-term thought here, I think, from Elon on the impact that this could have to a lot of his various different businesses, his employees. And I understand, what Elon is doing is he's just saying all the quiet stuff out loud. We should stop spending. If you're in the Epstein files, it should be revealed, whatever, right? He's saying the quiet stuff out loud, but because there's no filter, unfortunately, his businesses probably are going to suffer in the near term. Might create a great buying opportunity. I don't know. It depends how crazy it gets. Let's go look really quick, shall we? Oh, shit. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. It's now, I started this video and it was down like 10%. It's now 15%. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. But that's really interesting because this morning in the Alpha report, I'm like, I don't think we're going to break the 318. And if we do, we're going to come back under it. I was basically saying, don't go calls on Tesla today because I don't think we can break and maintain these lines. Well, I guess I should have said go puts, but I don't think anybody was seeing this coming. Okay, that's crazy. Well, we also said there's a top in for CoreWeave because everybody's going to go for Circle. You can watch our course member live stream and fact check that I literally said that this morning. Like 5 times I said it too, which is really interesting. But anyway, you can join that over at meetkevin.com if you want. So anyway, going back to some of this tweet storm over here. Oh, use coupon code TARIF. It's either tariff or tariffs. I can't remember if there's an S. But if you want to join, you go to meetkevin.com. It's either tariff or tariffs. Watch that. Such an obvious lie. We talked about that. What Elon Musk is doing is genuinely heroic. He will win no friends in politics. Yes. And he will be ostracized by the current administration. Yes. But he is totally right. We, the entire Western world, cannot simply go on pretending that this is sustainable, blah, blah, blah. He's basically talking about the debt. All right. let's just put it this way. The debt is not sustainable. That is guaranteed. However, that does not mean the United States is going to implode within the next few years. It'll probably take 50 to 200 years. And then the dollar and the United States will implode. But for now, the United States is still too powerful. So yes, in the future, it will be a problem. Is it a major problem today? No. Should we start solving it today? Yes. All right. This is what I said about Jared, who is right. We saw this. Congress is spending America into bankruptcy. Okay, so we already saw this. Let me go see if there are any new truths right now. Yes. There are new truths. Well, are there? Or are those? Oh, no, these were just notification. Okay, I thought the notifications were still. They were showing a few minutes ago, but they're actually 54 minutes ago. All right, so we already saw that. Terminate Elon's contracts. He was wearing thin. We talked about that. And then, of course, talk of progress with China this morning on tariffs, but we're not actually seeing real progress. So now, this said, how does all of this end? Okay, here is the way to actually end this, okay? I hate to say it, but Elon has made his point. But here's how you end all this drama. Elon Musk needs to shut the F up and probably figure out how to apologize to Trump. That's politically unpopular for the people who support cutting the debt, but there's no election right now. So it doesn't matter. Instead, what matters for Elon's sake is if you care about robotaxis, if you care about Neuralink getting FDA approvals, if you care about the space station and not letting Amazon eat your lunch, then you probably need to bend the knee. That's probably going to be hard to convince Elon to do because Elon is not going to be like Mark Zuckerberg. It's actually one of the reasons why we love Elon, because he's not like another sort of regular suit, you know? Mark Zuckerberg, Trump won, bend the knee. Bezos, let's donate. Tim Cook, donate. You know, everybody bends the knee because they know it's good for business. It's great for business. If you're related to anything Trump, your business is booming. Crypto's booming. Trump wants Bitcoin ETFs that he's launching. Bitcoin or Trump watches you could buy for $100,000. My Pillow is probably buying a new mansion right now because Trump won, right? Like there's so much money in just being on the winning team and then just shilling it. This puts Elon in a really tough place. So you kind of have an Elon where Elon is saying what is true, what needs to be done for the long-term future of sustainability, humanity, and the United States. But it is going to come at the sacrifice of near-term support for Elon's businesses, which, yes, means near-term pain. Now, that could create a fantastic buying opportunity, right? Because, like we said, if tax credits go away for some EVs or all EVs, that could ultimately end up benefiting Tesla. So we'll see what happens. But crazy, absolutely crazy day. Elon literally crashing out against Donald Trump to the point where now we have Elon Musk saying Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. We probably could have seen that one coming. But wild environment. So anyway, if you like these sort of breakdowns or videos, make sure to leave me a comment. You're going to have two types of videos you can look at here. I just posted a Blackboard video on the channel, which has very constructed thoughts on what I think about Donald Trump's economic reset. We talk about jobs, the Federal Reserve, and AI. I highly encourage you watch it. Well, and then, of course, you have these sort of live breakdowns of what's going on, why Tesla's crashing, why Elon's crashing out, why Donald Trump is freaking out, and what's going on. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you like one? Do you like the other? Do you like both? Give me a little bit of guidance. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Do these still work?
Just close the fucking door. Close the door.
Even though I'm a licensed, not that one.
Go yourself.
That's Elon's line.
Is that clear?
All right. We'll see y'all. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe.